This is Nobody, and it's called Alyssa Mercante's Disgusting College Dissertation. She's sick in the head.
Before I start the video, your dissertation is public information. You not only posted it on an academic website in the description down below, but you advertised it on the Kotaku article where you introduced yourself as the new senior editor. You even included...
I like how nobody is covering his ass right now, being like, you can't come at me because you posted this publicly. Like Alyssa Mercante wouldn't find a different angle to come at you.
a hyperlink. So thank you for being so user-friendly. Also, this is not harassment, nor defamation, and all content shown falls under fair use. And if you're confused on why I would be saying this, I think you know why. I am commenting on your words that you decided to write down, and I'm sharing with my audience your words.
Nobody said, I learned from
while
Smash
giving my
JT
personal
hardship.
criticism.
Right.
I've also downloaded your dissertation as a PDF. So if you somehow remove it, well, too late. And to my lovely audience, you are somebody, I am nobody. Please like and subscribe because what the f did I just read?
Love the intro. That's great. This is nightmare fuel. Goths, punks, queers, and gamers. Identifying subcultural and queer conventions.
I've had it. I slogged through the entire dissertation 3 times.
Identifying subcultural and queer conventions in contemporary indie games and establishing a queer punk indie gaming community. What the fuck did I just read? What? Oh my God.
And for
John says, turn it up a notch. Sure thing.
What? To read about some obscure self-indulgent indie games that barely anyone has played, all wrapped up in layers of...
Subarashi Time says, a college accepted this? Yes, because colleges are money factories. They don't care about education anymore. They care about making money. It is a business. Colleges try to trick people into being like, oh, we want to educate you. We want to higher educate. No, it's one of the biggest money-making schemes in the entire world. And it's only making more and more money as time goes on.
Pseudo-intellectual nonsense about queerness, punk resistance, and gothic horror? Give me a break. First of all, let's talk about the game Sabbat, which is the section of this dissertation that I'll be primarily focusing on that you were strangely into. Because apparently, clicking through a text-based game about turning into a hybrid monster primarily focusing...
Welcome to Sabbat, Director's KVT, a re-release of Sabbat, a twine by me. Oh, no problems. Have you ever got sick of your dumb human body and depressing future prospects? Why not play through a twine story in which you can coat your body in a charged animal essence and enact satanic rituals to gain weird demonic body parts and terrible power? Sabbat Director's KVT features 5 different animals to influence horrifying demon parts. Is Alyssa a Satanist? Or did she like just have a phase of that for her dissertation? Because what the fuck?
on that you were strangely into. Because apparently, clicking through a text-based game about turning into a hybrid monster and wrecking capitalism is the height of artistic rebellion. Really? A game where you pick random body parts to mutilate and then you destroy institutions is supposed to be the pinnacle of queer punk gaming?
The chat is in full roast mode right now.
Oh, dear viewer, you don't believe me. She played this game twice for this dissertation. Let me show you what she wrote. Sabbat begins by asking players to identify their genitals. or not, as you can choose what's it to ya as an answer, and sacrifice animals as there's a cruelty-free option. How nice of the game. In order to morph into
Why would there be a cruelty-free option in a game about murdering animals and spreading them all over your body? That is just strange, but okay. Is that to clear like the ESRB and stuff?
to a hybrid human animal creature that takes over the world, or not, as players can choose to do nothing with their hybrid bodies. The satanic ritual you must partake in involves self-mutilation and the blood of animals, and results in human-animal body hybridity, referencing traditional Gothic notions of the border-crossing hybrid, or an ambiguous being whose existence imperils categories and oppositions dominant in social life. Your disfigured, grotesque body defies binary categorizations and brings forth a
What? What?
satanic reign of terror against the normative. You are allowed to choose the body parts, head, arms, body, legs, genitals, that will be infused with the feral energies of the snake, the crow, the goat, the wolf.
The funny thing is, like, we all know like the types of people that would play this kind of game, and it's almost like people like Alyssa love this kind of game existing so that they can point to it as, oh, that's what's wrong with society. But in this case, she's not doing that, which is weird.
And the centipede, the satanic ritual, which involves body mutilation and verbal invocations of satanic icons.
Wait, Hypnotic Rapture says, Smash, you're forgetting Alyssa admitted to failing college? I must have missed that part.
Results in myriad manifestations of hybridity dependent upon those decisions. After penetrating the domestic space, no matter what gender you have chosen at the game's inception,
I mean, choice of words here. What? Penetrating?
you engage in a sexual encounter with a witch whose aura attracts you to her high-rise apartment, an encounter that I argue further destabilizes heteronormative binaries. This would superficially seem like a lesbian encounter for players who choose to have a vagina or choose to remain neutral. However, Sabbat refuses to essentialize sexuality or gender, instead adopting a queerer stance.
What? Like, I'm pretty sure I've spoken English as far back as I can remember, but I can't make heads or tails of whatever the hell this dissertation even is saying right now.
For example, I chose the vagina.
Victor says, I'm lost, boss. Me too. I'm lost too. What language is this? I don't know. It's not English. I don't know what language it is, though. Satanism, maybe?
Vagina option. Yet upon infusing my genitals with the power of the goat, plated teeth slotted into the place at the mouth of my vagina, and my clitoris warped and hollowed, becoming a far less sensitive, unfortunately, black goat nose. Oh, and
Alyssa wrote this.
here's the creation that she made, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to blur out the goat head vagina, but if you want to read Alyssa Mercante's entire dissertation that involves this even more fucked up version of the human centipede, it's in the description down below. She continues.
Would it surprise any of you that the creator of this game is a trans woman that goes by Big Gay Baby Dragon on their socials? No. It would not surprise me at all, actually. It would surprise me if they did not. I'll put it that way.
Here, sexual organs are distorted and completely effaced, negating the original sexed body, forcing you, upon failing to fornicate with the witch, to get really high and make out for a while in order to join auras.
So it's stuff like this when I know John F. Trent and I have our differences, especially when it comes to pushing religion on people. Because I'm of the mindset of people should be allowed to do what they want with their free will. Where I feel like John F. Trent is far more concerned with pushing his ideology of religion on people. And it's times like this where I understand him. And I get it. I get it. I'm like, yep. These people need Jesus. These people need Jesus bad. I think my problem is when it comes to this kind of stuff is I like to think that people will be logical about their approach to life and will find some sort of normalcy. I know normal is relative, but this is by no measure anything normal. So this is the kind of stuff. This is why I can't stand this stuff, because all this does is empower the religious, righteous people, the Melanie Macs of the world, the John F. Trents, the people that are throwing the Bible at everyone, being like, this is why the Bible needs to be everywhere. This is why we need to push religion and Jesus needs to be everywhere, because of people like this. And I'm like, no, maybe these people are just really fucked. Like, maybe that's what it is. You don't need to try to push a religion on them. That's not going to change anything. Raphael Smith says, problem is these people lack any logic or morals. Yep. But religion can provide morals to people, which is why it enables and encourages people like John F. Trent to want people to take up religion and use that as their moral compass. Because I did have a conversation with John about this before he blocked me, where he was like asking me what my moral compass was. And it was basically just like the golden rule: do unto others is what you want to you're done to you type thing. And he's like, well, yeah, but where do you get your morals and values in life? And I'm like, well, I just try to be a good person. He's like, well, what does good mean to you? Like, we had this whole conversation, and that's what he went back to, is like, the Bible and religion provides people a blueprint to values because people need those values. And I see where he's coming from, but I disagree on a grand scale of it. But that doesn't mean I'm right, he's wrong. And I feel like he took it very personally. It was just kind of like, each person should be allowed to think what they want. And I'm not a big fan of people pushing ideologies on other people. If they want to encourage people to open their mind to it, have at it if you want. But forcing it on people, no, I gotta draw a line on that one, bro. That's not where I go.
I played the game through again a second time and chose to have a penis and to direct the power of the wolf to my genitals. Upon meeting the witch,
Who would play this game? With the infinite amount of games out there, who would not just play this game, but who would play through it twice? Why?
I discovered that I had a wolf's vagina, making my avatar both a transsexual and a trans-species individual. These representations of sexual gender fluidity, coupled with the unbridled power you are given as a reward for hybrid embodiment.
What?
Okay. Okay. A few questions. What the did I just read?
For nobody, a guy that doesn't have any facial reactions, he has a lot of reactions. It's actually pretty impressive.
Who would play this a second time? Really, Alyssa?
Yeah, we got
a second time.
If
the
I forgot he said that too. Who would play this a second time?
goal was to spread
the message.
The best idea you had was human dismemberment. What is wrong with you? You have all these other games in this paper that promote empathy to people you identify.
Albatross, bad idea to come to this stream right now. Albatross says, I'm super fucking baked right now. What the fuck did I just tune into?
Identify with your cause, like the game Manichi, that attempts to do so by playing a transgender person about the struggles of their everyday lives. But for any reader that you're trying to convince to have this empathy for a certain type of group, you utterly destroy that possibility with a goat vagina. How is this a winning strategy to you? And you know what? Of course, just like this game where you choose a dick and it forces you to change it to a pussy, I'm talking about one. How can someone play a game like this, write about it in a college dissertation, and not be sent to an institution? It's like Alyssa Mercante expects us to believe. That's
a great point, by the way. I blame the teacher. The teacher should have read this and been like, hello, police. Could I have the number to the closest padded room? I, I have a student that just gave me a very concerning dissertation.
Smashing heteronormative structures in a
Smashing.
low-budget, barely visual game is some kind of revolutionary act. Meanwhile, people are out here making actual games with compelling mechanics, but nah, Sabbat is the real deal because it's free
Checking
and lets
in.
you attack corpulent white fucks in a Capitol building and literally
Corpulent white fucks. She was saying this stuff back in college, guys. People are saying, "Oh yeah, maybe she'll learn, maybe she'll change." She's been like this for years. This is nothing new. This is deeply rooted and embedded in her.
and state communism at the end. Amazing.
Wait, whoa, what? Also, you instated full communism. You get good ending. So it's a communism simulator with a bunch of really weird satanic worshiping in it. I guess it all makes sense and lines up. Shouldn't be surprised.
Amazing. And don't even get me started on this obsession with what she calls DIY culture, which she has to explain to the reader in the terminology index along with basic gaming terminology. You can't make the reader in the term
DIY, a common shortening of the phrase do it yourself, which can be utilized when discussing music, art, movies, and more. Wait, she put that there like someone wouldn't know what DIY is? Or what a playthrough is? Like, I get it if it's like, oh, I don't know what an NPC is because I don't play games. But, I mean, DIY is a pretty common term. The other ones, I understand. But yeah, that's funny.
terminology index along with basic gaming terminology. You can't make this shit up. This dissertation acts like any game that costs money is inherently less punk. And so what? Developers aren't allowed to get paid now?
No.
Oh, but
No, because communism. Of course, that's capitalism. You don't want to pay developers for their work. They should be paid by a stipend by the government. The communist way.
Sabbat is pure because it's free or $5. Maybe. Hear me out. Just maybe. That's because no one would pay more for a glorified choose-your-own-adventure incel edgelord genital mutilation simulator. But you know what? Let's pretend for a second that this is the future of gaming. Then we've got the queer gothic literary theory shoehorned into everything that no one would buy. Does everything have to be about the like the author's works that you mentioned here, like Freud's uncanny, Bakhtin's grotesque, and Kristeva's abject?
Demon, don't even think about it. Demon Carol says, "Who's going to be the one that gives this to Smash?" Don't even.
How about this? Again, hear me out. Sometimes a horror game is just a fucking horror game. Not everything
Thank
needs to be an
you.
academic essay about resisting heteronormativity through satanic mutilation monster metaphors. Oh, quick sidebar. She writes the word heteronormativity 32 times.
How do you write a dissertation and put the word heteronormativity 32 times? I'd say once is too many. 32 times. What? Oh, but it gets better though, because listen to the next one.
In this. Oh, and any word that starts with hetero appears 119 times.
119 times in a dissertation for the word hetero. If the dissertation is 50 pages long, that's the word is on more than twice a page.
Actually, come to think about it, maybe she's straight. But I guess in this Mercante world, amnesia isn't scary unless you're analyzing the homoerotic tension between a guy and a bunch of faceless monsters. Am I right, boys? And look, I get it. Alyssa Mercante really wants indie games to be some kind of anti-straight countercultural movement. totes get it, but the reality is most gamers don't give a damn about whether a game is queer punk enough or whether it was made in Twine instead of Unity. People play games because they're fun, or at least supposed to be, not because they make some grand artistic, or in this case, autistic, statement about capitalism or gender fluidity. This whole thing reads like a love letter from an author with Peter Pan syndrome to an imaginary indie gaming utopia where everything is an LGBT anti-establishment fever dream, and frankly, like her, it's exhausting. Jesus, Alyssa. You don't need therapy. You need a full goddamn de-brainwashing program. I suggest the premium. If you want to spend hours analyzing whether pixel art and text-based adventures are secretly overthrowing the patriarchy, be my guest. But don't pretend like a handful of niche indie games are some kind of grand cultural revolution. Because at the end of the day, most of us want to play, not read a sociopath's 70-page manifesto. But what do I know? I'm just nobody. And for my sanity, please like and subscribe.
Shout out again to nobody.
It looks like you.
Shout out to nobody for a legendary video. That was amazing. That was amazing. It goes back to the whole, like, these people do not want to play the games for the fun of the game. They see the games as an avenue to push their ideology. And that is the end to the means of what the purpose of gaming is. And because people who actually love games because of the games themselves are fighting back, they get really angry, get really mad, start claiming harassment, and throw lawsuits at people. It's like, no, just get the fuck out of the gaming space because you're not going to change the games that we play. I don't know how many times we have to tell you this and teach you this lesson, but we're going to do it until the day we all die. Anyways, shout out again to nobody. Check him out. And I see B-Man putting him in the chat there. Give him a sub if you enjoy that video. He's doing really well and looking forward to the next one. I could imagine that video took a little bit of work mentally to get through.